So let's hear a little bit more from Coach Payton on what's next for him now that he's stepping away from the Saints 16 years after he arrived.
Honestly, as I sit here today, and this is okay, I don't know what's next. And look, I read the reports and I understand. I've not spoken to anyone from a media outlet relative to doing television or radio. Maybe that opportunity arises, but every time I read something that says like he's in line for this job, I'll call my agent Don and I'll say, Don, did you hear something? Because I have not heard anything, and that's okay. I think I'd like to do that. I think I'd be pretty good at it. But so stepping outside like in the cold weather today and being a little uncomfortable professionally or from a career standpoint is okay. I don't like the word retirement. Mr. B didn't like it either. He always said, retirement's overrated. We get sold this whole image of retirement by these investment groups on TV and golf courses and retirement. And so, I still have a vision for doing things in football. And I'll be honest with you, that might be coaching again at some point. I don't think it's this year. I think maybe in the future, but that's not where my heart is right now. It's not at all.
All right, here's my theory. And he said TV or radio, which is odd on the surface. On the surface, it's odd. Because what former coach or player gravitates to radio? It's TV. TV is where they go. That's the usual off-ramp. But usual is changing. The world is changing. And Sean Payton, if nothing else, is brilliant. And he's going to take that brilliance and he's going to apply it to business, whatever he does, media, whatever. And also, he's applied that brilliance to figuring out what he's going to do with his career. So he's currently one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL, and he busts his ass every single day. Every single day. Staying up late, attention to detail, throw yourself into the job. That's what you have to do to be successful as an NFL head coach. And as one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL, he's making north of $15 million. And people say, holy crap, that's a lot of money. And you look at what the job entails and what the value of a great coach is, and you say, you know what, it's really not that much money because the NFL has found a way. They've found a way. Sorry, oligarchs, you've found a way to collude in an unspoken way that holds it down. And they don't really get what they're worth because Jared Goff, $33.5 million, Bill Belichick, $20 to $25 million. I rest my case. You've found a way. You've found a way to prevent the truly impactful individuals on a consistent pursuit of contention and championships from getting what they deserve. Well played, oligarchs. Take a victory lap. All right. That said, so just reduce it. Let's reduce it to dollars and cents. Oh, it's crass to talk about money. Bull crap. Bull crap. We all at some level are asking ourselves, what am I getting for what I'm doing? And is there another way to get more for doing the same thing? Could I get a hell of a lot more for doing the same thing, for putting the same time into it? Or could I get more or maybe a hell of a lot more for doing less than what I'm doing? You mean there's a way I can make even more money for doing less than what I'm currently doing? Well, welcome to the modern NFL, where the gambling money is flowing like water from Niagara Falls. Can we pull up the image of yesterday from Sean Payton? Do we have a still frame of him yesterday? Here's the key. The key was hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, it's right behind him.
90 minutes. No, it's right in front of him. 90 minutes of yesterday's press conference. No, I just need the shot. See that right in front?
Yeah.
Look right. See what that is?
Right.
We can stop it now, but look and see what that is right in front.
Is that Caesars?
That's the Caesars logo.
Boom.
Caesar. Go ahead and put the, what's the little olives? What is that? With that little crown, the Caesar crown. Put that on Sean Payton's head.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be able to buy one made out of diamonds. Because here's why. Because here's what here's how Sean Payton would. Because the guy's been around football for 16 years as a head coach. I've been doing this 20 years. I know a thing or two about the way Sean Payton operates. He would explain it something like this. I got this dopey quarterback from directional Illinois that comes to Dallas undrafted when I'm there with Parcells, and this guy's just laughing and yucking it up, and he's just kind of a doofus, and he's making $18 million a year now calling games on CBS. And then there's this guy who's this former punter. He's a former punter, for crying out loud. He's making $30 million a year from FanDuel. What's wrong with this picture? If these guys can do it, I can make $50 million a year. And I'm not saying that's my opinion. I'm saying that's what Sean Payton is probably thinking at some level. So you give him 2-3 hours a day with a radio. I don't want to give him ideas here. We don't need any more competition than we already have. But I'm just saying, Caesar knows. Sean Payton knows where this money is everywhere, and he would be good. He did 90 minutes yesterday. I watched an hour of it, and I didn't think like, oh God, will this guy ever shut up?
Right.
So get ready, and why not? If you're working for a group of oligarchs who are going to hold you down, who have found a way to ensure that the best coaches never get what they deserve, and you can enter a marketplace where Caesar, DraftKings, FanDuel, PointsBet, this one, that one, they're going to throw buckets of money at Sean Payton if that's what he wants to do. This is bigger than Sean Payton working for Fox or NBC or CBS or Amazon calling games. This is Sean Payton maybe creating a he may not want to he may not be able to afford the pay cut to go back to coach the Dallas Cowboys if that's what ends up. And obviously that's where we think he would go. But Chris, it just kind of hit me as we were talking about it today. And I saw Caesar there. Payton knows what he's doing.
Of course he does. Well, he's going to have a ton of options. I mean, he should. He's the man. You explained it all. I mean, he really is. We know he's as knowledgeable about the game as anybody in the whole world. I mean, he knows both sides of the ball, offense, defense, understands what it takes as far as, getting your team in the right mentality. Whatever he wants to do. I don't know if I see him doing that, like the radio podcast thing and all that.
If he could make $30 million a year doing it, he would do it.
Yeah, sure. Maybe he would. I still even think with stuff like that, though, he's going to get sick of it after a few years. He is. He likes being an oligarch, too, but the oligarching football team. That's what he wants to do. So that's where I just look at it and go, this will only be so long. Maybe you get 3 or 4 years where, he's collecting big paychecks from media companies and all of that. But I just have a hard time, not that I know him real well, but know a lot of people that do know him, been around him a little, know the nature of that beast, like you explained anyways, as far as what it takes to be a head coach. I don't think he can get away from that. The every week competitive desire to come up with a game plan, screw over the other coach, lead men onto a football field. I think he's addicted to that. And that's where, again, all the things you said I think are true, and he's going to have those options, but I just think it's only a matter of time. And damn, I say a matter of time, and I want to go, I mean, if the oligarch of oligarchs calls and makes him an offer like that, and then goes, you know what, I can get rid of McCarthy here, and I can get you, and I'll trade the Saints, and I'll pay you $20 million a year, and screw it, I'll tell everybody what we're paying you. I don't think – I still don't put that in the realm of possibility this year yet. I don't. I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones, I hear you. I know
the clock's ticking on Jerry Jones. I mean, I hope to make it that long too, but when I'm closing in on 80, the clock's ticking on me. You got to
make moves. Exactly right. And, I mean, we know Sean Payton is, at least in my opinion, greater than Mike McCarthy. Yes. And I think there's a affection from both sides there that I think is real. I think Dallas has always been on Sean Payton's radar ever since he got there and was there and got to experience what it's like to be a Dallas Cowboy. And, you've said it. I've heard it. I mean, it also seems like Jerry Jones has always had his eye. And buy Mike's Playmaker book coming out soon. It's got a great story about how close he was to becoming the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Look at this. Well, I'm doing free pub for you now.
Thank you very much. We're going to tell that story in a minute because I've already written about it yesterday. I talked to the publisher and it's like, this is the perfect time to go and give people a taste. I'm like a drug dealer here. I'm giving you a little taste. I want you to buy the rest of the pie.
Yummy. Let me have more.
But you said something that reminded me of a conversation I had yesterday on PFTPM with Shireen Williams, who covered the Cowboys for years and still lives down in the area. And you mentioned Sean Payton better than Mike McCarthy. And now you've got Cowboys fans who are like, oh, is he really an upgrade over Mike McCarthy? I mean, Mike McCarthy won one championship with Aaron Rodgers. Sean Payton won one championship with Drew Brees. They're basically the same guy. I mean, look, they're basically the same guy. And here's all I have to say to that. And I mean no disrespect to Drew Brees. Drew Brees is not the same quarterback as Aaron Rodgers from a physically gifted standpoint. Drew Brees got the absolute most out of his God-given abilities, and I respect anyone who does that. He got more than he could out of his God-given abilities. He was tremendous from an accomplishment standpoint, but Aaron Rodgers is still a different cat when it comes to
I think
natural
Drew
God-given throwing
too.
ability.
Yeah.
And I think Drew said that.
Yeah,
I think he's admitted that.
Yes.
Okay, so consider this. Sean Payton told the story yesterday of interviewing for the Saints job in 2006 after leaving Green Bay and interviewing for the job there because they got hired the same year, McCarthy and Payton. And he kind of wanted the Green Bay job. And he was upset when he found out he didn't get the Green Bay job. All right, alternate history. Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers
Oof.
for 15 years. Are you freaking kidding me?
Oof.
That's it. That's all. Cowboys fans, if you're like, oh, is it really going to be an upgrade? Yes.
It is going to be an upgrade. Come on,
because Sean
Dallas
Payton
Cowboys
and Aaron
fans.
Rodgers for the last 15 years, I don't know how many they would have had, but it would have been more than one.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that I think are different there. I mean, first off, Mike McCarthy's a walking meme on social media right now. So there's a difference there that should just hit everybody in the face. Go, wait, why does everybody have something or a gif or anything that makes fun of Mike McCarthy and there's not one out there as Sean Payton? Well, because he doesn't have blunders across his career as far as mismanagement of games or situations or NFC championship games, whatever. That's not a part of his history. In fact, he's been screwed over in some of those instances with some of the most miraculous, crazy crap you've ever seen, with the horrible call against the Rams, the Minneapolis Miracle. Of course, had to take a year off because of Bountygate and all of that, and then add to that, like Mike McCarthy took over the Green Bay Packers with Brett Favre, and the team was pretty good. Like we already stated here, Sean Payton took over the Saints, where it was like, whoa, there's a lot of work to do. I don't know how long it'll take him to get together. Right.
Post-Katrina.
And it turned it around to where now every year we're like, well, the NFC South is the Saints division. So there is a difference there. Let alone, again, even on the offensive side of the ball, the genius there. You explained it. Drew Brees is the man. We know that. First ballot Hall of Famer, the man, one of the greats of all time. Throwing for 5,000 yards with him all those times. Mike McCarthy didn't do that with Aaron Rodgers. And like you explained, Aaron Rodgers is more talented. So there's that. And then add on to the fact that, Sean Payton's a play caller, still calling plays. Mike McCarthy, and this is why I always say Aaron Rodgers is great, does want nothing to do with plays now. Nothing, because he's not that great at it, and his offense isn't that creative. So he's giving it to Kellen Moore. So there's a huge difference there, Dallas fans. I'm not saying it happens. I don't know. It's certainly food for thought for me when Sean Payton finally made this decision to get out of the Saints. So I just wonder if it'll happen. And, I know it sounds like we disrespected Mike McCarthy there, but I didn't mean to. I was more making the point of that, Sean Payton, yes, in my opinion, is an upgrade over somebody like Mike McCarthy. Clear upgrade.
All you have to say is all due respect, and it makes it okay.
Yeah,
you can
gotcha.
say whatever
it's
you
all
want.
good.
I've learned that over the
Well,
years.
I respect a lot of the things Mike McCarthy does and did. I don't want to
But the point is, the point is, wherever Mike McCarthy is, Sean Payton's a level higher. Period. And look no farther than the debacle at the end of the playoff game. Sean Payton is not going to do that.
Right.
Sean Payton is not going to call a play that is executed in a way and coached in a way that results in the final seconds ticking off the clock. He's not going to allow his quarterback to run and stay up for too long. He's not going to have his quarterback being a door, not a window, for the umpire who's trying to get in position to set the ball, because that's the most important aspect of that play. That's not going to happen. Sean Payton will have devised something that would have been better and it would have worked. That's the difference. And this is why I feel like Jerry Jones has to be thinking about it. Look, I was pondering this even before we knew Sean Payton was considering leaving.
You said it. Yeah, you've said it a few times.
And last week when Jerry Jones offered up his twice weekly word salad, that you got to pick through the ingredients of the word salad and look for the good stuff. There was some stuff there that led me to believe he's at least pondering, can I do better than Mike McCarthy? And as we've previously said, He's not going to allow the bird in the hand to fly away until he knows he's got the two in the bush in the other hand. He's not going to take the chance that he's going to be in a worse spot. He's going to hang on to the guy that's here until he knows he can get a guy who's here. And until he can get a guy who's here, he's not going to get rid of the guy who's there.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.